Hello, my dear Washingtons. All day yesterday I was looking on my phone at the photographs that many of you were sending me from Stewart's memorial service up in Temescal. I wish I could have been there, but alas, I was here in Michigan. But certainly he was in my heart and my thoughts, as he has been ever since he has left us. I can't believe it. I can't believe we lost him. But all this time, though, since his passing, I've been reflecting on the life and times of Stewart Grinnel Washington and thinking about the things we did as young people. You know, I first met him. He and Winnie were on my mother's front porch. This was a million years ago when your family first moved onto Ocean View Drive, and it was right around Christmas. And Stewart and Winnie came in and wanted to see our Christmas tree, and we started talking and found out so many things that we kind of had in common. This cemented literally a friendship that has lasted now for what? How many years, Tracy?
Oh,
60 years.
Yep.
God, can you imagine? But Stewart was, we called him the mayor of Ocean View Drive.
Yep.
Because he literally initiated all the wonderful things we did to play as young people. He came up with exciting things to celebrate. I mean, did you know when he was a kid he used to put on circuses? I mean, we would dress our animals like circus animals, and he strung up, he and Teddy McCall, a tightrope kind of across, I guess, the McCall's driveway and over into the Krebs house's driveway. And Stewart actually could walk that tightrope with an umbrella. I'm telling you, there wasn't anything Stewart couldn't do. But I think what I loved about him was the celebration of milestones and the holidays. Halloween, all the way into my adulthood. Stewart's Halloween scared most of the children in Rockridge.
Scared the crap out of us.
I mean, what he did to Estelle's house, he literally would, and Winnie would remember this, they put that, you get those aerosol cans of webs.
Yeah, the spider web.
And the spider webs were all over the sidewalk up to your front door. When you opened the door, there was kind of a vestibule, but you were looking right in to the Washington dining room. And as I remember, Stewart put poor Winnie on that table and covered him with sheets and ketchup. I mean, he looked dead.
Well,
and just, you know, and the little kids, any little kid that dared come up those steps, Winnie would come to life and scare the hell out of them. And Stewart and I would laugh. And then when I was an adult, Mom bought the house right next door to hers. And we had a window that overlooked our front steps. And Stewart and I made recordings where he'd go, ooh, ooh. And I did a witch recording like, hello, my little pretties. Hello, my little, come in. That's my daughter's dogs. Don't let that stop me. At any rate, poor little kids would come up on that porch and were terrified, which made us feel kind of good to know we scared all of those children. And then, of course, Christmas was amazing because my mother did this with Stewart and me, but I think your grandmother, Moosey, would come up to your house in a great big long car with huge fins on the back, and she'd steam up in front of your house. Voop, voop, went her horn. And Winnie and Stewart would run out in their little Lord Fauntleroy outfits, and she would take them over to the city. My mother did the same thing.
Yeah.
We would take some of the neighborhood kids.
Yeah.
And in those days, you didn't go to the city, and women didn't, unless they were wearing a hat and gloves.
And gloves.
And, you know, you were in your finery.
And then Grandma always made sure we had a dime.
A dime in case we
had
needed to make a phone call. But she would then park in Union Square, which is where the St. Francis Hotel was, City of Paris, Macy's, Gump's. They all kind of were on that square, and Christmas was a time that was just spellbinding. Your jaw would drop. But Stewart and I used to love to go up in City of Paris because there was a rotunda almost like in the White House or the Capitol building. And they had a Christmas tree that had to be 6 or 7 stories tall.
Huh.
And you could go up this rotunda, go up these stairs and stand there at the railing and almost touch the branches. And it was magical. Oh my God. So that was part of kind of my childhood and young personhood. And then as Stewart and I got older, we did these things with our own children. I mean, I remember Stewart's wedding. What a beautiful wedding when he married Deborah. And of course, Stewart he was best man at my wedding. And he and Enzo, my husband, were very, very good friends. And I loved Deborah. And then I saw Stewart's 2 babies born. And Stewart was witness when my 2 babies were born. He used to babysit for them, and I babysit for Lauren and Avery both.
Well, remember when Stewart's sister had her brand new baby?
Oh yes, when Jackie
Brand new
had she had a brand new baby. She was very young, and Stewart, without the family knowing about it, we don't know how he did this, but he suddenly fronted up at my front door, and this is when I lived next door to my mother's house on Ocean View, and in he came with Andre.
Yeah.
A baby about that long.
2 days old, probably.
Wrapped in a blanket. And I remember saying, Stewart, does your sister know? Does she know you have that baby? And you kind of, oh yeah, that's all right. Let him bark. Don't touch her and he won't bark. So my mother then saw it and she kind of said, Stewart, you've got to take that baby home. Think of it. He was what? 3 houses up from me. 3 houses up from me. Hey! He was 3 houses up from me. And he could have stumbled and fallen with that baby. So Andre, you're lucky you're alive. And I know you're a grown man now. But it was just exciting to see that brand new baby. And Stewart, he adored you girls, his sisters. That's why we were both so shocked when we lost Terry. We certainly didn't expect that. And when your father died, that was also a shock. But I think for Stewart, the loss of his mother, when Estelle died, I think that was more than Stewart could manage. And actually, I think that's when Stewart started a decline, in my honest opinion. But all these years, we were best friends. And I mean, he was my best friend.
Remember when he came here to visit and everyone thought he was Denzel Washington?
Oh yeah,
the
he
whole
came
town.
here to visit me in this tiny little Midwestern town, Union City, Michigan. And since his last name was Washington, all the white people in this town, and I'm sorry, white people do this, assumed he was Denzel Washington. And God, after a while, Stewart didn't even try to correct him. If they wanted to think he was Denzel, that was fine. But oh, we had some wonderful, wonderful, wonderful times. Stewart certainly did have his demons. And in his case, the demon was alcohol. I don't know if you Washingtons know this, but my mother was an alcoholic. And she hid it very well. I don't think my neighbors were really aware of it. I will tell you this. She was a mean drunk. A mean drunk. Mm-hmm. Not to the point where she did beatings, but it was psychological warfare whenever she had been drinking. I am pleased to say my mother, though, was clean and sober, I guess, the last 20 years of her life. Mm-hmm. And I was so hoping that was going to be Stewart's mantra. And he, you know, there were times that he was clean and sober, and then there were times he couldn't be. I think for any of you that resented the fact that he was an alcoholic, you need to know it's an illness. It isn't like it's something he wanted to happen. It just gets you by the throat, and that's just the way of it, I think. But I'm thinking of him these days. I can still hear his voice. I can still hear his laughter. I can feel the texture of his skin. To me, it is just not possible that I'm going to live the rest of my life in this earth. And Stewart won't be here. I mean, in the last few years, when he moved to the Pacific Northwest, we communicated by texting and phone calls. And I looked forward to his texts, and I guess he looked forward to mine. But I just wanted you all to know what a truly wonderful, mystical, amazing creature he was. And yes, he had his faults, but don't we all? But I am so lucky and so thankful that I lived and walked this earth with someone like him. And I'm devastated that I won't have him to call on the phone anymore. I do sit in my rocker out on my day room and I talk to him. Sometimes I honestly think I can hear him. But to all of you wonderful Washingtons, to Robin and to Jackie and to darling, darling Winston, please know how much this old lady, Patricia, adored your brother. And my daughter, Tracy, and my son, Stephen, they adored him too. Now that I'm saying this to you, we're all crying because I can't imagine my life without him. But I guess there we are. So to all of you, my heartfelt condolences, and God bless you all, and God bless my beloved friend, Stewart.